Dylan the villain ran his mouth against the legend only to get run off the court and out of the building. All that smoke from the Rockets engine just to leave Chase Center down 3-1 and an impending beatdown after poking the bear. Hey, what's happening everyone? This is Switch Culture. Jimmy Butler returns to the Warriors starting lineup. Just one game removed from a pelvic contusion injury, and the Warriors having taken care of business while he was out really showed the depth of this team. Sinking his teeth into this game was Buddy Hield, who let his presence felt after starting in place of Moses Moody. His 15 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals impacted the game just as Steve Kerr expected when matching him up on Jalen Green. But this wasn't the only reason he was put into the starting lineup. Another shocking move by Steve Kerr was Trayce Jackson-Davis playing time. Even Trayce was so shocked that he forgot to shave before game time. Why did Steve Kerr make the decision to play Trayce? Why did Kevon Looney keep fouling Steven Adams late in the fourth? Could you have imagined just 2 years ago that Klay Thompson would be sitting at home while Brandon Podziemski blow away the Houston Rockets alongside Stephen Curry and Draymond Green in Game 4 of the playoffs? Pods did his best Klay Thompson impression with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists on 6 of 11 three-pointers. He most definitely would have been the focal point of tonight's game if Brooks wasn't skipping leg day to run his mouth. Speaking of Brooks, as if it wasn't bad that he tried to re-injure Steph Curry in Game 3, it seems the antagonist wanted a piece of Curry in Game 4, but instead got yoked up by Draymond Green, choked and slammed by Jimmy Butler, and sent back home to Houston. Unsurprisingly, Steve Kerr kept one thing constant. Find out what that is, as well as the full story of how Jimmy Butler dispatched and shut down Dillon Brooks after the break. Before that, however, be sure to like the video and subscribe to Switch Culture for the most analytical and entertaining NBA content on the planet. Now get ready. You're about to get After going down 2-1 to the Warriors, Game 4 was a must-win for Houston. It's no surprise then that their best effort so far was last night's game. They were relentless in the paint with 48 points inside while going to the free throw line 31 times, with both marks significantly eclipsing the Warriors. They even shot better from distance, averaging 48% three-point shooting, making 11 of 23 attempts. Most of these were from Fred VanVleet, who was 8 of 12 from beyond the arc. He finished up with 25 points, 6 assists, and only 2 turnovers. VanVleet has seen a lot of Golden State, especially when he played for the Raptors, so he knows he matches up well against this team. Even so, this wasn't enough. His backcourt partner, Jalen Green, struggled as inconsistency struck for the 3rd time this series. Imagine getting clamped by Buddy's teeth. 8 points, 5 turnovers, and 1 of 5 from long range. Green was a fish out of water. So where did this Houston Rockets performance come from? Green's draft mate Alperen Şengün put up 31 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals, and was actually a +4 in his 42 minutes. He was a major problem for the Warriors, but not nearly as bad as Steven Adams. Before we get to Steven Adams, however, something happened earlier in the game. First, he was a problem for the Warriors when he was in Memphis. Now he's a thorn in the Warriors' side in Houston. Dillon Brooks, who after obviously trying to hit Steph Curry on the injured thumb on a 3-point contest, twice I might add, is still on the prowl and trying to find ways to get inside Curry's head. On Curry's first foul, Brooks let Steph know he was counting them. So on a subsequent possession, with a little over 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, Draymond set a screen for Curry to get separation from Amen Thompson. As Curry came around the screen, Brooks sets a moving screen and fouled Curry as he tried to get around it. Steph points to him and signals that this is your second foul, and as he's helped up by Draymond, Brooks, clearly frustrated, lunges in for the ball that was in Curry's possession. Draymond wasn't having it and yoked him up to where he got checked by Quinton Post, doing what everyone secretly, or not so secretly, wishes someone would step up and do. Jabari Smith Jr. came into the mix and almost had his check mailed in by Post before Steven Adams said, "Okay, that's enough," and bear hugged him out of there. Things got real chippy with a little over 2 minutes to go, still in the second quarter, when Tari Eason was shooting free throws. Brooks starts trash talking Butler, and Jimmy Buckets responded. Now, I might not know a whole lot, but I do know that if you put your hands on Batman, beware of Robin. Whatever Brooks said got Jimmy fired up as he responded with something along the lines of, "You a bum and I'ma bust your ass for talking." Brooks responds saying, "For talking trash?" Butler says, "Yeah, for talking trash." And as a man of his word, busted pelvis should be out for 2 weeks according to Steve Kerr and all, Jimmy proceeded to torch the Rockets. At one point, with half of his back in malfunction, Jimmy chases Brooks on a chase down block, knocking both he and the ball well out of bounds. Following their earlier conversation, Butler scored 23 points for a total of 27 to go with 6 assists and 5 rebounds, hitting 12 of 12 from the free throw line. Brooks, on the other hand, did not score a single point after messing with the wrong dude. He might call himself Robin, but this is not the dude you want to meet in the alleyway on a dark night. While Jimmy had his way for most of the rest of the game, Udoka made an adjustment in the fourth that made things get really interesting. This adjustment was Steven Adams. Adams gave the Warriors so many problems. Steve Kerr had to find a solution. His sheer size and presence in the paint forced Steve Kerr to make a move I personally have never seen him execute, the hack-a-shack. But what made Steven Adams such a problem for Kerr? Adams is the best offensive rebounder in the league. In his 26 minutes on the floor, the Rockets were a plus 16. A plus 16! While he only had 5 points, he had 5 offensive boards and 4 blocks. This type of rim protection has been the Achilles heel of the Warriors, and Adams was no different. To make matters worse, Udoka paired him with Alperen Sengun, creating a torturous twin tower tandem. To counter this, Steve even put TJD in alongside post to give the Warriors some size and to prevent an absolute takeover late in the third quarter. The obvious difference was very apparent in that Adams is a seasoned veteran, Sengun is an all-star. Meanwhile, the Warriors' front court consisted of 2 late second-round picks in their rookie and sophomore seasons. When Adams came onto the floor in the fourth quarter, the Rockets quickly cut the Warriors' lead to 0 and got the upper hand as all the momentum began to swing their way. Things became desperate. And then it clicked. Adams' weakness was his free throw shooting. Because of this, and because the Warriors had no other counters, Steve Kerr subbed in Looney, who quickly took 2 personal take fouls on Steven Adams. The goal was to force Adams out of the game or keep him on the floor and shoot free throws on all the Rockets' possessions. Within 30 seconds of Looney entering the game, both he and Adams were back out of the game. This allowed the Warriors to resume control. With Butler and Green at the 4 and 5, the size difference would have killed them as they'd have to contend with Adams on the defensive end and both he and Sengun at the offensive end. Steve Kerr played an excellent game down the stretch, calling Udoka's hand, and while it was close and came down to the last possession, Kerr once again trusted his vets to get the job done. Despite Draymond having 5 fouls, 1 tech, and 1 flagrant, he stood his ground against Alperen Sengun and got one last stop. Udoka was hoping Alpe's offense would be enough to overcome Draymond in isolation, considering there was no room for error on the defensive side for Dre. But he didn't yield, and Sengun was unable to get off a good look. This sealed the win for the Dubs, who have won the most clutch games of any team in this year's playoffs, as well as the 3rd highest win percentage in clutch games post-All-Star break. Lastly, despite starting in Jimmy's absence, of the 11 players that participated in the last game, Jonathan Kuminga was notably absent despite the team going through some rough patches. There's no denying that this is a talented team, but with such close wins to a team that doesn't have any playoff experience outside of Van Vliet, you have to wonder if Steve Kerr's method will hold against better teams such as the Timberwolves or even OKC. Are they able to beat those teams without Jonathan Kuminga? That's a question I'm sure we'll find the answer to. As I've said before, unless there's no Jimmy, JK will not be on the floor. By the way, here's some advice. Jimmy and Steph are the 2 pettiest, grudge-holding, diabolical entities in the league. Don't ever trash talk either of these players. You will pay for it. And they will ensure the entire world sees you making payments with interest. Post your thoughts on the issues in the comments below, and let me know what you guys think. Did Brooks deserve what he got, or should Jimmy have taken it easy on him? Does Jimmy's performance mean Steph Curry's getting carried? Just be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all your notifications so you don't miss any of my latest uploads. Thanks for watching. Till next time, swish!